The phrase high maintenance has been given a really bad reputation, and I think it's about time that someone corrected that. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. Because when a lot of people hear the words high maintenance, they immediately think of a woman who's difficult, a woman who's demanding, a woman who's always dressed up, glammed up to the nines, always getting her nails done, makeup is caked on to perfection. She's always making everything harder than it needs to be, and that's not what high maintenance is. To me, that's not even close to what it is. I myself am high maintenance. I am particular. I am very particular, and I don't apologise for either. I did spend years apologising for it, and it's taken me years to get to the point where that's who I am, and as long as I'm maintaining myself, it doesn't matter. I am high maintenance and I stand by that. So let me give you my definition of what high maintenance actually is. To me personally, I think that being high maintenance is knowing who you are, it's knowing what you want, what you need, and it's refusing to settle for anything that doesn't suit that. For me, a big part of being high maintenance is that I never accept the phrase "it'll do for now." That's when it comes to the things that actually matter in my life, I will never settle for "it'll do for now." To me, being high maintenance is being organised, it's being intentional, it's caring about my surroundings and the small details of my daily life. It's about centering myself, and I know that some women are uncomfortable with that phrase, but centering yourself doesn't mean that you stop being kind or that you stop showing up for the people you love. It just means that you are also on your own list of priorities. High maintenance women can be incredibly warm and generous. The difference is they just don't exhaust themselves in the process of being that. High maintenance women know their own limits and they deeply respect them and stand by them. That's what's known as self-awareness, and I think that the internet has confused high maintenance with high drama when the two are completely different things. I see this online all the time about the phrase running a tight ship and strict rules, and to me a lot of that, I'm not saying all of it, but a lot of it is very performative. And when you see a lot of these women, again, not all of them, but a lot of these women that you would generally class as high maintenance actually they may look the part aesthetically, but a lot of them have a lot of drama going on. A lot of them have situationships that they're tolerating. They have toxic family dynamics, friendship dynamics that they're tolerating. They may look the part on the surface, but deep down they aren't taking proper care of themselves. You can look all done up, all perfect hair, perfect nails, but that doesn't mean that you're respecting your time, your energy, your body, your presence, all of that. So never be fooled by what you see on the cover of the book, as they say. So what does being high maintenance actually look like in daily life? Well, for me, a woman that is high maintenance has preferences and she doesn't mind voicing them. She doesn't voice them in a rude or aggressive manner. That's not needed. She doesn't have to be rude or ill-mannered to voice her preferences, but she doesn't say, "Oh, whatever you want," either. When she actually has her own preferences, she knows what she likes and she says so, and she says it clearly and kindly. And I know for a lot of women that's harder than it sounds, because as women, we've spent years making ourselves easy and palatable. It's how we've been conditioned to operate. We have been conditioned to take up less space in the world. We are consistently trying not to be a bother to anyone, to go with the flow. And for me, going with the flow doesn't exist. I don't go with the flow, not for anything. So for me, being high maintenance is having your preference and voicing it, even if it's just a small preference. And I know that for a lot of people, voicing what they actually want can feel almost selfish to them, but it isn't selfish. It's honest. It's being honest with who you are and the life you want to live and the life you think you deserve to live. As I said, I never settle for it'll do for now. That doesn't work for me. And that doesn't mean that I'm always waiting for perfect conditions before I live my life. It means that I don't choose things that I know are wrong for me just because they're convenient or they're available. And that applies to everything in my life. That applies to relationships, friendships, how people speak to me, my environment, my standards. I care about the details, and a woman who is high maintenance cares about the details. She cares about her space, her routines, the small things that make daily life feel intentional rather than chaotic. And being high maintenance doesn't require money, which a lot of online content will make it seem like it does. What it does require is attention. A high maintenance woman is organised because it makes your days feel easier and lighter when your life is a bit more organised. A high maintenance woman has a relationship with her own life. She knows what she needs and she knows what she's working towards. And organisation is also an act of self-respect. It tells you that you care enough about yourself to not have you rushing off your feet, being chaotic, giving you unnecessary stress that you really don't need in your life. And having a proper relationship with yourself also means that whenever a romantic relationship falls apart, then you don't fall apart with it, which to me is something that a lot of women could learn from. I've witnessed it before with many people and with myself in the past, where when a relationship does fall apart, you completely lose yourself. Your whole world seems like it falls apart and you almost have to rebuild yourself. As a high maintenance woman, you can be self-centered and kind all at the one time. And if you see a lot of the high maintenance women content online, it will tell you otherwise. It will tell you that that's not possible. You should just constantly 24/7 be thinking of yourself and never doing anything for anyone else, and that's not the case. A high maintenance woman knows the difference between these two things. When she gives generously from a place of genuine choice and not obligation, because she knows how to not let self-guilt eat her up. She knows that she's just as important as everyone else in her life, and she gives herself that time. And I think this is where a lot of the online high maintenance community, if you would call it that, gets things wrong. High maintenance women know the difference from giving through choice to giving through obligation. So how do you actually start becoming high maintenance? And I want to be really honest here, because I know that if you're watching this video, then something within the title obviously resonated with you and you want to maybe learn how to start being high maintenance. And you've probably spent years putting yourself last, showing up for everyone else, and something now in you is ready to change all that. And maybe you've tried before, maybe you've watched plenty of videos that told you to put yourself first, know your worth, be that girl. I mean, we've all seen them. TikTok is absolutely teeming with these videos. You've watched the glow up videos before and you've copied the aesthetic, all the beauty steps, and you really tried, you really did, but none of it seemed to stick. It always felt forced, and in the end you ended up feeling worse than you did before you even started. And it's easy for me to sit here and tell you to just get your hair done, get the it girl hairstyle, get the acrylics, wear the little black dresses, put on the high heels, and just tell everyone where to go. If only it were that simple. But without working on the inner you, your mindset, your habits, your routines, none of it will stick, and none of it will make a blind bit of notice to your life. Sure, some of that stuff helps. Getting your hair done will always make you feel good. Getting your nails done will always make you feel good. They are part of the plan, the aesthetic. I'm not going to lie, they are. But they're not the whole story, because you can't jump from putting yourself last to immediately putting yourself first overnight. It just doesn't work like that. And to me, it's the biggest road to failure and beating yourself up about it. And trying to make that big leap is going to make the change harder rather than easier. Real change in its true form is gradual, it's small, and it starts with you actually sitting with yourself. So step one is sitting with yourself, and for this I would recommend getting outside every day as much as you possibly can, even if it's only for a few minutes at a time, because being outside in the fresh air, in the sunlight, will help clear your mind. It helps to bring clarity, and it allows you a bit of breathing space for a minute. And what you need to do is you actually take yourself for a walk and actually give yourself time to think about what you actually want, what you need. And don't just think about what you want and need for today. Think about things like, how do you want to feel this time next year? Not just how do you want your life to look this time next year, how do you want to feel in your life this time next year? What would make you happy? And it doesn't have to be something big or something dramatic, because not everything in life has to be a big life-changing moment. Real happiness and self-awareness comes from the small things, the sometimes mundane things we do consistently for ourselves. And ask yourself, when you're doing that, ask yourself this one question: your whole day, is it built around pleasing other people? Because if it is, think about this: who's pleasing you? If you're spending your day pleasing other people, who's pleasing you? And step two is voicing one preference every day. And it doesn't have to be anything big. In fact, I would recommend making it something very low stakes, and it doesn't have to be any big dramatic moment around it or confrontation. This isn't a big dramatic boundary setting moment either. It just has to be one moment in your day where you say exactly what you want, actually what you want, instead of defaulting to what everyone else around you wants and needs. This helps you to build a relationship with your own preferences again, and for a lot of women that relationship has gone extremely quiet, and this is how you wake it back up. You wake it up by doing one thing at a time, one small step at a time. Step 3 is creating one thing in your day that belongs solely to you, and this should be something that you protect, something that isn't handed over to someone else's needs unless it's a genuine emergency. For me personally, it's my morning cup of tea. That time is mine. I take that time to sit and be with myself, to do whatever I want to do while I'm drinking that tea. If my phone goes, I don't answer it. I don't answer messages in that time. That time is just solely for me. And like I said, it doesn't have to be something long or something elaborate. It just has to be something that's yours, and you have to treat it like it matters, because it does. Like I said, for me, it's my morning cup of tea, and I don't let anyone disturb that, because when you have something in your day that belongs only to you, it tends to change how the rest of the day feels, and it can help you to stop running on empty. Step 4 is having a motto that you can use when you're making decisions. I have a personal motto that has completely changed how I make decisions. My motto is, if it doesn't bring me peace, comfort or joy, then I don't want it. Now, that doesn't mean that I never step outside of my comfort zone. Of course I do. I actually step out of my comfort zone every single day. That's how I grow. But I do it in ways that I'm capable of doing. I know my limitations. I know the things that I'm capable of. So when I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone, I do it in a way that suits who I am. Because you can see something online that will tell you about how to step outside your comfort zone, and that may be what works for that person, but it may not work for you. And I know a lot of people would say, well, that is staying in your comfort zone. No, actually it isn't. I always push my own boundaries, because like I said, that's how you grow. But I won't do it in ways that go against everything I know about who I am. Step number 5 is start editing, and start editing slowly. High maintenance women have edited their lives. They've quietly removed the things that drain them, or the things that simply don't suit who they are. And you don't have to do this all at once. You don't have to remove everything all at once. Start with one thing. Start with maybe that obligation you keep fulfilling out of guilt that you could step back from, because sometimes in order to step back from that obligation, you have to sit with that discomfort of feeling the guilt. Nothing in life will move forward if you can't sit within your own discomfort. You could step back from the commitment that costs you more than it gives you, the thing you keep doing because you always have done, not because you actually want to do it. Just make one small edit, then another, and over time, life starts to feel more like your own life again. Step 6 is reframing what it means to put yourself first. You're allowed to be on your own list of priorities. In fact, you're actually allowed to be at the top of that list of your priorities. You're allowed to factor yourself into all your decisions. You're allowed to have wants, needs, desires, and you're allowed to voice those wants and needs and desires. And doing so, voicing them doesn't make you selfish. In fact, voicing them is a sign that you respect yourself. And women who respect themselves almost always have better relationships, because they give from a place of choice, not depletion. So if you're a woman who came here because, like I said earlier, something in the title resonated with you, then I hope that this video gave you something that you can actually use, and not just something that sounds good, but something that you can actually do, something you can do maybe this week, today even. And remember, you don't have to transform everything overnight. You just have to start, even with the smallest of things. And remember, I am high maintenance, I am particular, and I don't apologise for either. And maybe after this video you won't either. So that's it for another video, and if you like this, then remember to subscribe and stick around for more. Until next time.